The crystalline communication array aboard the Zephyrian flagship Dominion's Edge crackled to life, transmitting what High Commander Vexthul believed would be humanity's final surrender. For 3 rotations, the massive fleet had maintained orbit around the small blue planet, their weapons trained on major population centers. Every species they had encountered before had capitulated within hours of witnessing their overwhelming firepower. Primitive beings of the 3rd planet. Vexthul's voice resonated through the quantum transmitter, his forearms gesturing dramatically despite knowing the humans couldn't see him. You have witnessed our might. Your crude vessels are no match for our technology. Surrender now and your species will be granted the honor of servitude under the Galactic Dominion. The response came faster than expected, crackling through their translation matrix with an odd energy that made several bridge officers step back from their consoles. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Thank you for the introduction. We've been wondering when someone would finally show up with a proper welcoming committee. Before we discuss terms, we have one question. Which galaxy would you like us to liberate first? Vexthul's primary eyes widened, their bioluminescent pupils flickering in confusion. Liberation? You misunderstand your position, humans. We demand your unconditional— Oh, we understand perfectly, Chen interrupted, her voice carrying an unsettling cheerfulness. You're the Galactic Dominion. You've conquered hundreds of worlds, and you think Earth is next. The thing is, we've been monitoring your communications for the past 72 hours. Fascinating stuff, really. Did you know your encryption is based on mathematical principles we figured out in the 1940s? The bridge fell silent except for the nervous clicking of Zephyrian claws against metal surfaces. Sub-Commander Krixtal leaned toward Vexthul, his voice a whispered hiss. Commander, perhaps we should demonstrate our firepower more directly. Excellent idea. Chen's voice came through again, somehow having intercepted their private communication. We were hoping you'd try that. Please, target our moon. We've been meaning to redecorate. Vexthul's mandibles clicked in frustration. You dare mock the Dominion. Very well. Weapons officer, charge the primary plasma cannons. Show them what happens to defiant species. The Dominion's Edge hummed with energy as its massive weapons systems powered up, drawing energy from 3 fusion cores. The other ships in the fleet followed suit, their combined firepower capable of cracking a continent. On the targeting displays, Earth's moon grew larger, crosshairs centering on its gray surface. Fire. 12 beams of concentrated plasma lanced toward the moon, each one carrying enough energy to vaporize a city. They struck simultaneously, creating a brilliant flash visible from Earth's surface. When the light faded, the moon remained exactly as it had been. Huh, came Chen's voice, now tinged with genuine disappointment. That's it? Our teenage physics students have built particle accelerators with more punch. Are you sure you're using military-grade equipment? Panic rippled through the Zephyrian fleet. Krixtal frantically worked his console, running diagnostics on their weapon systems. Commander, our weapons are functioning perfectly. That should have cracked their satellite in half. It would have, Chen replied, apparently still listening to their communications, if we hadn't surrounded Luna with a gravity well manipulator 6 months ago. Lovely piece of engineering, really. We reverse engineered it from some debris we found near Proxima Centauri. Ring any bells? Big ship, lots of attitude, kept threatening to harvest our resources. They made excellent scrap metal. Vexthul felt his secondary hearts skip a beat. The Harvester Prime had been one of their most advanced dreadnoughts. It had gone missing during a reconnaissance mission to this very system. Now then, Chen continued, her tone shifting to something that reminded Vexthul uncomfortably of a teacher addressing slow students. Let's discuss those galaxies. We've been expanding for quite some time now, you see. Started with our own solar system, naturally. Mars was a delightful renovation project. Then we moved on to Alpha Centauri. Beautiful real estate, terrible neighbors. Jupiter's moons make excellent forward bases, by the way. The view screen shimmered, and suddenly it displayed not Earth's single moon, but dozens of artificial satellites, each one bristling with weapon arrays that made Zephyrian technology look like stone knives. Worse, in the asteroid belt between the fourth and fifth planets, massive shipyards stretched across space, constructing vessels that dwarfed even the Dominion's edge. The thing about humans, Chen's voice continued conversationally, is that we're really good at pattern recognition. Once we figured out that the galaxy was full of bullies with fancy ships and bad attitudes, we decided to do something about it. Did you honestly think a species capable of interstellar travel would leave their homeworld undefended? Sub-Commander Crixtall was now frantically scanning the system with every sensor array they had. "Commander," he whispered, his voice trembling, "I'm reading energy signatures consistent with at least 3,000 ships. They're everywhere, behind every asteroid, moon, and planet." 3,000 seems low, Chen mused. "Oh, you're only counting this system. Understandable mistake. Computer, show our guests the full tactical display." The space around them suddenly came alive with contacts. Ships emerged from cloak, rose from planetary surfaces, and appeared from behind cosmic debris. The Zephyrian fleet of 200 vessels found themselves outnumbered 50-1 by craft that radiated power signatures beyond their understanding. "Now," Admiral Chen said, her voice carrying the weight of an entire species that had spent millennia dreaming of the stars and centuries preparing for what they'd find there. "About those galaxies. We've been expanding steadily for the past century. Andromeda looks particularly inviting this time of year, but we're flexible. Where would you recommend we start our liberation efforts?" High Commander Vex Thule looked around his bridge at officers whose confidence had evaporated like morning dew. In the space of minutes, they had gone from conquerors to potential casualties of war. His people had built their empire on the assumption that any species capable of interstellar travel would be reasonable enough to surrender when faced with overwhelming odds. They had never encountered a species insane enough to see overwhelming odds as a challenge. Vex Thule's voice failed him. "Take your time," Chen said kindly. "We're patient. We've been waiting for someone like you to show up for decades. Someone who could provide us with star charts, fleet positions, and detailed intelligence about all the other empires out there that need liberating. Consider it a career change opportunity." As the human fleet began to move, their formation patterns displaying a level of tactical sophistication that spoke of centuries of warfare preparation, Vex Thule realized that the Galactic Dominion had just encountered something far more dangerous than another conquest. They had found their replacements. "Welcome to Earth," Admiral Chen said cheerfully. "We hope you enjoy your stay. It's about to be a very long one."